Hello there, Commonwealth from here. Metroid is on a roll now that Metroid Red is lifting the franchise to new heights, both when it comes to graphics and popularity. And following the timeline of 2D Metroid games and the 3D Prime series, we now have 10 individual story installments after the 35th anniversary of the franchise. So let's rank them all from worst to best. And if you want us to make even more Metroid videos after this one, then be sure to smash that like button, as we're aiming for 3,500 for 35 years of Metroid greatness. Plus subscribe and press the notification bell to not miss any of them. But now, let's get to number 10, which is Other M. We're beginning with the controversial one, which according to many ruined Samus' Space Warrior character, and I do agree that this game could have approached Samus' relationship with Commander Adam Malkovich in a better and more respectful way. The cinematic CGI cutscenes are still the most impressive in the series, and Samus looks great in them, but sadly they stand out greatly from the gameplay in the game, which is a big mess. From its controls being for some reason tied to the Wiimote exclusively, meaning that this game has no analog stick despite having first-person Metroid Prime-like portions. Switching the controller from a horizontal to vertical position, and then we haven't even talked about how most of the areas you run through are literally long corridors with nothing interesting in them. And Samus' powers are not gained but rather there from the beginning of the game, but not possible to use until you get the permission from Adam. Ugh. This game has one redeeming quality though, namely the bosses, but other than that, you're better off skipping this game and watching the summary of the game's story in our Metroid timeline. Number 9. Metroid Prime Hunters. A big scavenger hunt for an ultimate weapon against multiple bounty hunters. Sounds like the perfect premise to have Samus' abilities tested in the Olympic cluster. It is just that once again, the controls greatly limit the experience, as this was a DS title that combined D-pad gameplay for a first-person 3D game, and where you control your aim with a DS stylus. This game suffers from the same issues as Super Mario 64 DS, namely clunky controls, and though its introduction of online to the Metroid series back in the day was amazing, it is no longer available after Nintendo shut down the Wi-Fi support for the Nintendo DS. With that being said, the gap from Other M to Hunters is significant, as this side project between the numbered Metroid Prime titles has a great story, cinematic cutscenes, premise, and villain. It is just held back by the hardware and controls, which makes sense as the hardware was also the reason why Yoshio Sakamoto waited with Dread instead of pushing it to the DS. We think he made the right choice. Number 8. Metroid Zero Mission. Metroid 1 has not aged well, and Yoshio Sakamoto knew this well when he ordered the development of a reinvented version of Samus Zero Mission, hyping it up with an excellent manga backstory. Metroid Zero Mission is a great game in many ways, as it gives us glimpses of Samus' relationship to the Chozo and her childhood before becoming a bounty hunter, and expanded on the Chozo's importance in the series. The game also features excellent control improvements and added important cutscenes, where the first Metroid of 1986 had none until the big plot twist that Samus is actually a female. Zero Mission is the best entry point to the series to this date, as this is one of, if not the easiest and shortest Metroid games, but with greatly memorable bosses, which has made it the perfect speedrunner title. Oh, and it added the Zero Suit Space Pirate section, which was greatly atmospheric and had the vulnerability to Samus in the way it should be done. Looking at you, Other M. Number 7. Metroid 2 Samus Returns. Metroid 2 on the Game Boy was not a good Metroid game, mainly due to the limitations of the 8-bit handheld, from the gameplay, only one objective, killing all Metroids, to music. So Mercury's team had a big job in reinventing this oh-so-crucial Metroid title, which introduced one of the favorite and longest-lasting references in the Metroid series, the baby Metroid. And the Spanish Space Warriors did a great job, bringing Metroid back from the shadows it had lingered in for 7 long years after Other M, and are responsible for the current Metroid resurgence, with added mechanics, content, objectives, brand new soundtrack and bosses, plus a completely different experience of SR388. Oh, and let's not forget the Chosen Memories, which teased Metroid Dread. This reimagination brought Metroid back with a bang, and though the sales numbers were nothing to scream about, the quality of the game granted Mercury's team the next mission of bringing Metroid Red back from the dead, and that is all that needs to be said. Number 6. Metroid Prime 2 Echoes. The Majora's Mask of the Metroid Prime franchise. A far darker, sinister, but also personal Metroid adventure which managed to stand on its own on the 2-layered ether. without the Chozo and Ridley, but with the Luminol and a set of sinister villains in the Ing and Dark Samus. This makes Metroid Prime 2 echoes the most unique game in the series, as this title had the same excellent first-person adventure gameplay of Prime, but with extra difficulty added thanks to the life-draining Dark Aether sections, which bring great contrast, but are also tough as nails, especially when you have to fight Ing bosses here to regain your powers. This game has brilliant horror moments, but should definitely not be played until you have finished Prime, as it is a title that truly tests your abilities in all of its areas, and seamlessly foreshadows a number of the fights to come. It is a classic, but one for the experienced Metroid veteran. Number 5. Metroid Fusion. Sinister, lethal, and the galaxy's greatest threat. The X-Parasite truly steals the show in Metroid Fusion, as Samus in a new suit is literally chased by her old Varia suit throughout the game. And for the most part of this game, you don't stand a chance against a villain that is even more iconic than Dark Samus, the SAX or Samus X. This game exposes the Galactic Federation for what they really are, an imperialistic faction that aims to dominate the galaxy with Metroids and is ready to contain you to prevent you from destroying their plans. The many layers of this title and great cutscenes for a Game Boy Advance title really sets the creepy mood in this title, which takes place within one space station, the Biological Space Laboratory. Metroid Fusion is a classic Metroid game that, with its simple, solid controls and nightmare boss battles and sequences, made it the second best 2D Metroid. Well, until number 4. Metroid Red, or Metroid 5 if you prefer. Yes, I know I could have put Fusion at 4 and Dread at 5 to fit with the release order and have numerical greatness. When it comes to gameplay and controls, Metroid Dread is in a league of its own when it comes to 2D Metroid titles. Bringing back the Chozo, but this time a faction of militaristic birds who want to conquer the galaxy instead of save it. And if that wasn't enough, Samus is hunted by ME Federation robots, which have been designed to be indestructible by any of Samus' weapons until the very late game. This game offers a lot, from the best 2D gameplay to the return of Kraid, ME horror sections, a different approach to the power-up order, and most of all, challenge. Metroid Dread, even on its normal difficulty, is one of the hardest Metroid titles with the best 2D controls to date. Well, that and great introduction to fights through amazing in-engine 3D cutscenes. The plot twists and memorable moments are definitely present in this title, and though it is a 90 score Metroid title, it falls slightly short of the podium, where we find number 3. Metroid Prime 3 Corruption, or as I like to call it, the epic Metroid movie title. The first Metroid title with an extensive non-corrupted human cast and very likable characters, which first put Samus together with a team which then falls apart due to Dark Samus. No doubt, story, gameplay, bosses and variety are the strong suits of the conclusion to the original Metroid Prime trilogy, which truly brings the military strength of the Galactic Federation to the table. The motion controls, though at times gimmicky, still felt like an evolution of the Metroid first-person adventure experience by adding immersion and depth to an epic multiplanetary quest which had organic supercomputers, large-scale invasions, sophisticated ruined Chozo settlements, and full-scale war to end the Phazon threat. This game has really at its best, Dark Samus at its cruelest, plus some truly emotional battles and moments which hurt to this day. Metroid Prime 3 Corruption is simply amazing, despite its lack of Metroid isolation and being a multi-planetary quest with Phazon powers. But even then, there are two kings of this franchise, both when it comes to 2D and 3D. So let's begin with number 2. Metroid Prime, the best 3D Metroid game. The debut and breakthrough of first-person Metroid and Retro Studios is simply a masterpiece. A truly innovative title that shows once and for all that Metroid is a franchise that can easily make the transition to 3D. It is just that we need to see everything from Samus' eyes and have dual analog stick camera controls. This decision, by none other than Shigeru Miyamoto, changed Metroid forever. The first adventure in this style on the space pirate frigate Orpheon, and then through Talon 4 is simply timeless. The sense of isolation in the former Chozo paradise, now filled with space pirates, monstrosities and Chozo ghosts, is just so amazing for its numerous massive areas, well-crafted gameplay scenarios and challenges, and genius level design, which are all enhanced by one of the best soundtracks in the Metroid series. Metroid Prime is all about the adventure. In other words, what you see as the story is there, but hidden in optional Chozo and space pirate scans. The freedom of Metroid Prime brings a smile to your face few other Metroid games can offer. Only downsides to this game are the Chozo artifacts, where some are too cryptic to locate, even for Metroid standards. What makes it worse is that these are required in order to fight the two final bosses of the game. This, along with a few other reasons, means that our number 1 is Metroid 3 Super Metroid. The best 2D Metroid, and another timeless title that is only restricted by its control hardware limitations, but other than that has the best soundtrack, story and bosses in the series. Super Metroid has the perfect opening introducing Ridley and the baby Metroid within minutes after pressing the start button and immediately throwing you into what this game is all about, taking down the space pirates of Zebes once again and reclaiming the baby Metroid. You're literally on a space pirate hunt in Super Metroid, but the path to Ridley and the baby Metroid is long and tough, cryptic and most of all rewarding, as this Metroid game introduced so many power-ups and in many ways perfected the screw attack. The music, different areas as you make your way from top and deeper down into Zebes is just filled with surprises and a level design that created an entire franchise of its own, Metroidvania. This is to some Metroid fans the best game of all time, which from its music, numerous plot twists and best ending in the series stands as testament for why Yoshihisa Sakamoto and not Kensuke Tanabe has delivered the best Metroid game to date, and definitely with what was possible back in 1994. And that is our top 10 Metroid games list. Do you agree with our order, or would you switch among some of the chronology? Sound off in the comment section down below. If you haven't already, be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the Commonwealth realm with notification bell on, and for all notifications to not miss any of our upcoming Metroid videos. Finally, a big thanks goes to all our patreon.com/commonrealm patrons, and in particular to royal producer Charles Shash. You rock, and please enjoy one or both of these 2 awesome videos.